I'm back again, and this is another uh, quick sort of tutorial video with regards to your personal survival expenditure, and it's focusing particularly on the actual credit card side of things. However, what I'll do also, I'll build in a little bit after I've done the credit card things on a couple of little things, and then I just quickly show you how to manage this particular document on a regular basis, and sort of the importance of that. But one thing I think could be quite useful is you may have a number of credit cards, and often people will have balance transfers and special rates. So, how do you keep an eye on that? How does that feed into your monthly payment? So, what I did in one of the first videos was just put an amount, £30, 12 months, 360 a year. Fairly straightforward. However, as balances change, and obviously credit cards can either be repaid in full or there could be a minimum payment. So what I want to build in is this is about a personal survival budget expenditure. So what would really be based on the minimum expenditure. Obviously, it depends what offer you're on. So for some people that might work better because there may be no interest on that. For others, there may be quite a bit of interest. But let me just do the basics of that. So if you look down here, I've got one, two, three credit cards here listed. Only one has got a balance at the moment, and it's got a rate end of November 25. Obviously, I've just put that date in. You can get various, if you're eligible, you can get various offers. And I've put in there it's on a 0% balance transfer. Again, various credit cards will have various offers. And again, remember, this is not a comparison type site. This is just looking at the personal survival needs. The split bit down here, you might have on one card more than one offer. But the key thing here is how do you build into the survival budget what the actual monthly repayments are based on the minimum payment. Card one might have a different minimum repayment than card two and three. So some providers have as low as 1%, some have 3%. So it all very varies on each individual provider. So the way to actually that I'm going to deal with that is I'm going to come back to the actual B in terms of the expenditure. I'm going to change that from 30 to a formula here. So again, it's about using I suppose, the power of Excel in terms of formula to work these things out. So it's going to require a brackets approach, and I'm going to go down. Even though some of them are zero, you might move balances around to different cards. So if you build it in now, it addresses that. So I'm going to put the cell reference times, now let's say the payment on that is 2.99%. Put the percentage in. And then card two is, I've got to put the brackets in to make sure this works. I'm not obviously, this is not lesson in using brackets, times, let's say that's 1% plus card three. And again, appreciate it 0, but that's fine, that doesn't matter. And I'm going to times that by 1%. And then I'm going to close brackets, put that in. So now that will have updated to a percentage of the balances, and a different amount that's payable, but it updates all the other figures in there. Now, the good thing is once you move things around, so let's say you move that from there to there, and obviously the payment end date is slightly longer. You can get 18 months, 2 years, and so let's go July 1st of the 7th, 26. Now, you should hopefully have noticed that actually change back to the original amount, but it's still based on that percentage because it's 1% of the balance. Let's say you take out a new card with a purchase offer, special offer, uh, and that say is £1,000. Now, obviously, you're gonna have to change this slightly because they might have different end dates. So you're gonna maybe have to change that to 8 day one, and then end date two, and do that. And that again should update the payment there, £40. So that takes care of actually having different cards with different balances. and then feeding that back in. So again, you can actually, what you could do is for this end date that you could put the kind of the final date in July. I said July 26. Yeah, and then you can say, well, 3,000 is actually let's go back to November 25 and card 2. Let's get rid of the 25 there, and then card 2. I'm going to put equals 1,000, and that's 7 2025. Not sure why see that's kept that in there. It must be to do with the formatting. Or you can split one, so you can split the two cards. There's various ways of, you'll have to sort of change this to your own sort of way of doing it. But obviously, it's a way of individually checking the cards and making sure that you've got the accurate monthly figure. Again, remember what I said earlier in one of the other videos was the most important thing is that you are realistic about what your actual outgoings are. Let's say the worst thing is not to do that. So let's talk. Now we've done the credit card one. I say I'm probably going to do a separate video on energy and keep an eye on that, and also on specifically on interest there. I think I don't. Index, I covered a little bit. So you can change some of these to different italic colours, to red for the ones that change maybe more often. If they're fixed, you might want to leave it, but there's a little index here that I've used to sort of, toil equals toiletries. Again, you might think, blimey, Chris goes into a lot of detail here, but I don't know. It's done it for, certainly for the last 13 14 years it's worked for myself. What works for you might be different. But yeah, some notes down there. What you kind of, that's a bit of a free for all in terms of you use that index and notes as you can. So the last bits that I'm going to come to at some point are the interest in the gas and the electric. So how do we manage this on a monthly basis? We'll go to a previous video because I talked about how once you've got payments going out, you update F, so you update column F for payments going out. You also update column H for income once you've received the income in the particular time of the month. So what you want to do is keep that sort of percentage of net relationship proportionate to what's coming in and what's going out. So a previous video talks about reducing that to 11 months once the first of the month is gone. Council tax will be 9 months. It's 11. So once payment, you're just really reducing it by 1 for the monthly ones. I said in a previous video that for food and toiletries, I tend to do it every 4 or 5 weeks. So reduce, not I don't tend to. I mean, you can do it weekly. So reducing that to 48. That's a 48. And then, as I say, you go through it, and then what you also is when somebody's income comes in. So say that you've received a child benefit already, or whatever benefit it is, you reduce that to 12, and that reduces all because the other parts of this are formally based, then it will automatically update things like the percentages. So they will jump around a little bit. So in fact, that overall percentage now, rather than being 95%, you've got 90% of your income going out. But that will jump up and down a little bit depending when your money goes out and your money actually comes in. The other thing, if you remember, for birthdays, when somebody's had their birthday and it's gone, you reduce that, reduce that, reduce that. These are just approximate figures. Christmas, like I said, some people spread it over a number of months, do it in one go. I mean, if you do it in one go and you spend all that sort of 900 in one go, you can take it all off in one go. And that should reduce the figures here. You can see them moving, going down. But travel, I tend to because travel, like I said in the previous video, is a bit nowadays is harder to gauge because of people's different, the way they work, uh, how often they travel to a workplace, so it's very tricky. So I may say, right, okay, well, this month I know I've looked at my bank statement, I've spent £200 on travel, so I'll reduce that to £800. So that's the way of ongoing managing all your outgoings. But like I said, the um, the trick is to, update this regularly. To, you know, you build this as how much you want to build it, but to be very honest about how you actually do that. So looking at bank statements, and when you get renewals through. So one of the things I do once the insurance renewal comes through, I'll so for example, I paid the insurance. Let's say it's, well, I don't know, June. Um, so what I will do is take that out, but I'll also at the same time put in here, column B, what the new renewal was. So it's, another year of no claims. It's gone down by £50. Of course, it's probably likely to go up. However, I've changed that just to kind of update the sort of, I suppose, the annual figures as well. And it's the same when you enter new contracts. So that's the way of kind of, I say, well, of updating this. One thing I did notice was these were the wrong way round. So, so that's the other thing, is correcting any errors that you see, because this is subject to, obviously, I am a human being. I'm not a bot. This is not done on AI. So I've may have made the odd sort of minor errors. I'm going through this, so it's just about rectifying and correcting it. The other thing that I didn't say earlier, I didn't put anything for an individual. If you run a business separately, part time, I tend to, especially if you're doing it part time, is kind of take that out of the net income just as a basis, but that's entirely up to you. So that's really the kind of, I suppose, the final parts of this, in terms of, putting in things like your credit card information and how you will um, utilize the minimum payments. If you don't know what your minimum payment is, it will be on your statement, how much, and it should normally say what the minimum payment is as a percentage, but if it's got a minimum payment, you can just do a calculation and see what that minimum payment is. But again, they may need updating. From time to time, banks will increase their interest rates or decrease, but they'll also maybe change the minimum repayments that's required, and that's again where you change column B. So the ongoing updating this is mainly column F and column H, but it's also a little bit of column B as well. Of course, there might be some changes to column A. If you there may be a particular reason why you haven't got a TV license. Legally, I'm of course saying you may not drive, so you may not have got. But like I said, you may change that to bus or train. So yeah, you're going to be updating this over the year, various places. So I think in terms of the information that you need at the moment to, do this, I think I'm hoping is all there for you. But as I say, what I'll probably do at some stage is just set some more videos. One about your gas and electric, how you keep an eye on that, particularly because of the complication calculating gas, and then also a bit about interest. And then when I update it, I'll do it. So yeah, good luck with this, and thank you for watching all these different videos. I say, my name's Chris, and it's been good to support you through the process.